way, I'm the founder of Filipino Home-Based Moms, or FH Moms. What we do is we help Filipino mothers inside and outside the Philippines to get an online job, and now we are expanding to helping more Filipino mothers without access to the internet by giving them home-based livelihood opportunities.
Before kasi kami na nag-home-based job, parang living paycheck to paycheck kami. Sahod niya, oy, happy na agad yan, yung matitira. Or nung nag-home-based na kami, doon nakapag-ipon na kami. Nakapag-church wedding kami. Tapos nagkaroon na kami ng savings. Nagkaroon na rin kami ng investments, tsaka insurance. Nakapag-bili na rin kami ng house.
Dito kasi sa pag nagtrabaho kami sa bahay, mas maraming time na sa kids, sa kanya. Kaya, ayun. Hanggang ngayon, masaya pa rin naman ako sa pag-online job.
Since sobrang hirap, importante ko na talaga yung talim ng job, na-experience ko na rin yung discrimination sa work. Until October 2018, I was invited to be an inspirational speaker, and you were one of them. So yun, na-meet kita. And then doon ako na-trigger mami. Doon na talaga doon na ako pinasok talaga yung mundo ng pag-work. You gave me hope. I remember the experience ko sa isang company na discriminate ko. I got projects, I got freelance job, naging ambassador sa isang company. So those are some things na natutunan ko sa office.
Nag-join ako ng FH Moms last 2017, and that was the first year na nag-transition ako from corporate to working from home. So, nakita ko to sa Facebook as a mommy community for, like freelancers. So, that's why I joined. For me, FH Moms is really like a blessing. The group or this community made me realize my calling as a teacher. It's an honor to be part of this group, to impart what I know, and help other mothers out there as part of the goal of FH Moms. So, go for it.
In my job, there are many tasks. There are so many things that needs to be done in front of the computer. There's a lot of forms, paperwork, and also a lot of research. At the same time, being an event planner, I'm always on the go. And as a new company, it's also challenging whether should I hire an employee, like a regular employee, or should I just get somebody that's on call. Now, this is where FH Moms came in, like God said. So when I hired one of the wonderful FH Mom members with the name of Katie, I was able to communicate to her what I envisioned my business to be, and she helped me to create a very positive branding of my business. So I would say having FH Moms as a support system for my business has been the best decision that I have ever made.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so before we begin, let me just share my... Okay, wait. Hold on, guys. So... let me just share my screen with you. Okay, so okay, so good evening again, everyone. So for tonight, you are going to listen to this webinar about how are you going to earn online as an ESL teacher, or generally about online teaching. Okay. So while waiting for our other moms out there, so let's do a little warm up, okay? So let me ask you this question first. How familiar are you with teaching ESL? So, A, is this your first time to know about ESL teaching? B, you are or you know someone who is an ESL teacher? Or maybe C, you've heard of ESL teaching and you want to know how it works. So, leave us a comment, okay? With your answers so we can maybe somehow like address and based on what your answer is and maybe your concerns and your questions later, we'll be discussing each one of them. Okay, so again, leave us a comment of your answer. So are you A, B, or C? Which group do you belong? All right, so okay, so an overview of tonight's webinar. So this is what we are going to have. So I'll be doing an introduction first about myself, and then we will have the introduction to ESL teaching. I will also be discussing online teaching in general. And of course, we will know about the ESL course information or the online teaching course information that we offer in FH Moms. All right? Okay. So, hold on. All right, so let's begin. Okay, let me introduce myself first. So, again, my name is Heidi Bernabe. You can call me Mommy Heidi or just Heidi. Right? So I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Commerce, and my second degree is actually nursing. Okay, so as you can see, my major is not education, right? Nor English. I graduated with a degree in commerce and nursing. Totally far fetched from being an English teacher. Okay, I'm a registered nurse. Okay, I actually passed the board exam in 2005, but I never got the chance to pursue my profession as a nurse because I chose to stay in the ESL industry. Okay, so I started my journey in the ESL industry in 2003. So, just a quick background. So, at that time, from 2003 to 2006, I was an office based man to man tutor. It was actually a part time job because at the time I was taking up my second degree nursing. Okay. So, even if after I passed the board exam in 2005, I still continued, okay, working as an ESL teacher. So, I got promoted and became a supervisor tutor from 2006 to 2009. And the peak of my career started in 2009 when I had a chance to co manage one of the biggest ESL academies in my city, which is Iloilo. So that was in 2009 and to 2013. So I just want to highlight, okay, this part of my career because it opened my eyes to what actually are the needs of ESL teachers, okay, when it comes to um, grammar, when it comes to their teaching style, because I got to also have the chance to sit with them during interviews and even during their demos. So it was that time that I realized what do we need to improve as Filipino teachers, okay? Especially if we're dealing with foreign students. So at that time, we were handling around 100 teachers during peak season with around 200 to 300 students, right? And I started my home based freelance ESL teaching career in 2013. So I quit my job because my son was already growing up by then. So I opted to stay home and work as a home based freelance ESL teacher. And I also teach Filipino kids as a side hustle. So as you can see, you're not just limited to ESL teaching. right? So you can actually teach Filipino kids. Yung ESL teaching, it gives you the confidence that you're able to teach foreigners. So how much more with Filipino kids? It's really, really possible. Okay? All right, so let's start with the introduction to ESL teaching. Okay? So let's understand first, what do we mean when we say ESL? We often hear of this, but do we really know what it means? Okay, so ESL actually stands for English as a second language. Okay, so like for us Filipinos, English is not our first language. Of course, it's Filipino as our first language. So English is also it is also our second language. So native speakers, right? People from America, the UK, okay, Canada, then we call them the native speakers, okay, English, because English is really their first language, right? So as you can see, a lot of Asian and European countries use English as their second language. That is why the market is so big, okay, when it comes to ESL teaching, because you are not just limited to Asians. Most Filipinos know that our students are usually from China, Japan, or Korea, but actually there are even European countries. Okay, there are students from Russia, from Turkey. Okay, even from France. Okay, there are French who would also learn English, because as we know, English, okay, is really part of our daily life. May it be for business, may it be for pleasure when they travel. So that's how important English is. Okay, so the usual question that we hear is, who can be an ESL teacher? Or most moms, okay, would usually make this comment like, can I be an ESL teacher? How can I be an ESL teacher if my major is not English? Okay, those questions. So let's address that question first. So, who can be an ESL teacher? So, actually, anyone. Okay, I say anyone can be an ESL teacher as long as that person has the love and interest in English. Okay, because if you are not interested in learning English or even in teaching it, okay, so how can you be an ESL teacher? All right. So if you try to avoid English all the time, then I think, okay, you do not really have that love or that interest, okay, in the language itself. So it's going to be a challenge for you. Okay. But for as long as you have that interest in you, you love English, then it's possible. You can be an ESL teacher, right? Anyone who knows basic English and has the desire to develop that skill. I think most Filipinos, we really have our basic English skills, okay? Because we learned it since we were kids. We learned ABCs, okay, numbers. In elementary school, even kindergarten, we sing English songs, okay? So we're really familiar with the English language, okay? So what we just need is, we should have the desire to develop that skill, because just speaking English, okay, or being able to understand English may not be enough, okay, for you to be an ESL teacher. So you should have that desire that you want to develop your skills, okay? Next, anyone who finds joy in sharing her knowledge or stories and ideas, because of course you're expected to talk about so many things as a teacher, right? So it's not possible that you're just going to keep quiet in class or just listen to your student, right? So it's really important that you are able to share whatever it is, your past experiences, okay, your funny stories, or even your opinions or ideas. So if you enjoy doing that, you enjoy talking and sharing those things, then yes, you can be an ESL teacher, right? Last, anyone with the right attitude and drive to pursue this profession. Of course, given or in any given profession or in any given job that you are applying for, okay, what is really important is you have the right attitude, okay? Because there are companies who actually really do not just focus on your like English skills, okay? Because they know that, okay, sooner or later you're gonna develop, okay, and improve your English skills. But what is also important for them is you have the right attitude, meaning they can train you, they can teach you the system, how it works, okay? And of course, you personally have the drive to pursue this profession, meaning it's not just a game for you. It's not just something that you think, oh, okay, I'm just going to do this for like 3 months or so. So, meaning you really have to take it into your heart that this is the profession or this is the job that I want to do. Right? Okay. So, another very common question that we have is, can a newbie become an ESL teacher? Okay. Of course, definitely the answer is yes. Okay. Why? Because I mentioned earlier in 2003, I started, right, my ESL career. At that time, I just graduated from my degree in commerce. I didn't really have that much background in English. Actually, I still remember very clearly, okay, how my interview went at that time, that I couldn't even name all the prepositions that were asked of me. So definitely yes. Okay, everyone starts as a newbie. Okay, but what is important is you have the right mindset. Okay, and of course, given the proper training and the confidence in your skills, okay, absolutely, you can really be successful in this field. Okay, so again, right mindset. You are the type of person who is willing to accept criticism, okay, especially if there are really areas that you need to improve, and you take proper training, okay? And of course, confidence is really important, because how can students trust you, or how can they believe whatever you teach them in class if you do not show that confidence? Okay, so with all this, okay, even if you're a newbie, okay, then it's possible for you to still become an ESL teacher. Okay, next, what are the tasks of an ESL teacher? So what do you do? What is your job? Okay, what is it like? So basically, of course, because you're a teacher, you conduct English lessons in one-on-one or group classes. Okay, so meaning you teach online, okay, using the different platforms. It could be that you have your classes one-on-one, meaning one teacher and one student, or it could be group classes where you can have one, you as a teacher, a group class of around 4 students or 8 students or even more, a whole class of young kids. Okay, it depends. So basically you teach them. Okay, everything is done in English. Okay, next, you also evaluate students progress or make reports on their class performance. So really, you really work like our normal teacher in the Philippines, wherein you also make reports, okay? But they're not that long, okay, wherein you need to make grades and so on. Usually it's a narrative form wherein you just report the progress of your student in the class, how your student was from the beginning of the class until the time that he has or he already ends, okay, his contract ends or he ends all his classes, just those things. Okay, so last, okay, your task as an ESL teacher, you also, okay, cheer, console, and advise your students. So actually, as an ESL teacher, you wear several hats, okay, because you have this one-on-one session with your students. So there are times that your students would be so happy and they would be sharing with you good news about their jobs, about their studies. So you cheer them, right? You're happy with them. So, or if they're taking tests, you like give them advice, okay, on what to do. If they have problems, you console them, okay. If they feel depressed about their English progress, then you, of course, you console them, you give advice again, and then you help them feel better. So you see, it's not really basically just teaching English lessons, okay? So it could also be conversations about life as well, okay? So let's talk about ESL company systems, the kinds of classes, and age group and level of students. So there are different kinds, okay, of company systems. So it depends on which company do you plan to apply to. So first we have the booking system and fixed or assigned system. So booking system works wherein you open your class schedule and the students are gonna book your class for you. So meaning they're gonna choose you. It's like they can see on the platform the number of teachers or who are the teachers that are available, or they can conduct classes during this time. So you do not have a control over that. The students will just book your class if they read good reviews about you, okay, or you were recommended by their friends, okay. So that's how booking system works, okay. So basically it's really how you perform as a teacher that you get a lot of bookings or a lot of reservations, okay. While others they offer fixed or assigned system wherein the company would have a complete list of students, and then they're gonna assign you a specific student, okay. Like it's gonna be really fixed, like Mondays to Fridays. It could be, for example, the name of your student is John, so John is going to be your student from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's Mondays to Fridays. That's really fixed, okay. However, in the booking system, that doesn't work that way. Why? Because it's possible that maybe for tonight, okay, at 7 o'clock, my student's name is John, but tomorrow at 7 o'clock, another student booked my class. It could be Anna, okay. So for booking system, you have a lot of chances like of meeting more students because it depends on who is able to book or reserve your class first, okay. So companies may have students from Japan, Korea, China, Turkey, Russia, etc. So like I said, the market is so huge, okay? So it depends on the companies, okay? Because for these companies, okay, they have their own like marketing team. So they already have their own set of like students who they market to. So for example, one company, their focus is just Korea. So all of their students are from Korea. While another company, their focus is just on Vietnamese students. So all of their students are really from Vietnam. Okay, but there are companies who have mixed students. Some are from Japan, from Korea. Okay, others are from Europe. So again, it depends, right? So kinds of classes, it could be video class, an audio class, or even chat. Okay, so video classes, of course, you need your camera, okay, because you really have to use it in class. The company really requires that, okay, your student is able to see you in class. Okay, and you can also see your student in class. Audio class, okay, focuses more on just the listening. Okay, so with the audio class, this is where they would require you faster internet connection, and usually they would really require you like the best um headset, okay, with the noise canceling noise canceling feature, because unlike in video class, okay, your student can focus more on how you speak, okay, or how you look on camera. In audio class, it's more of just listening to your voice, so everything really has to sound perfect, okay. And lastly, there's also chat. Yeah, it's possible, okay. I've encountered, okay, one, okay, chat system, okay, of their classes. It's actually quite challenging. They use Kakao Talk, okay, in their classes, but then it's a bigger challenge because you really have to type fast. At the same time, you also have to be very particular in grammar. because the purpose of their chat conversation is really to correct the grammar errors of the students. So basically, you have a lesson and everything is like done through chat, and then you correct your students' mistakes also through chat. But then there's a specific time limit, okay, that you are able to reply to the chat. Okay, so that's the video, the audio, and the chat class. Next, we also have one-on-one or group class. Okay, so I've mentioned this earlier, one-on-one. So that's one student and then one teacher. Or a group class, okay, it could be a small or a big group class. So like I mentioned, one teacher with like 2 or 4 students in a class, or one teacher with a big group class, it could be 10 or more students. Okay, the different kinds of classes that we do, it could be grammar, conversation, vocabulary, business, test preparation. Okay, so it depends. Okay, there are companies that would ask you which do you prefer to teach. Okay, well, there are companies that would really like want you to teach, okay, everything. So it could be you should be able to teach grammar, at the same time you're also able to teach vocabulary. But test preparation and business, I think this is like already what we call like a specialization. Okay, and they would offer higher rates if you're able to teach, okay, test preparations like for IELTS or TOEIC, okay, those kinds of things, right? What about the age group? Your students can be as young as 2 years old and as young at heart as 70 years old. Okay, so yes, it's true, 2 years old, they can barely speak, okay, but then their parents would want them to learn English already. So 2 years old, don't worry, because usually the moms would be sitting with their kids. Okay, so there's really somebody who's gonna help you. But then it's also be challenging because you also have to please, or you also have to satisfy the mom, okay, with your ways of teaching, so that they would also recommend you to their friends. Okay, as young at heart as 70. Yes, it's true, like especially with Japanese students, okay, retirees, okay, most of them 60, 70 years old, okay, and they're still eager to learn, and they actually really love having conversations in English. Okay, for the level of students, they could be divided. Okay, we're talking about when you say level of students, that's their English proficiency level. Okay, meaning like how much do they know about English. So we divide them into beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. So beginner students are those students who only know really the basic. Okay, they usually just answer you in words. They cannot even make a complete sentence, right? Intermediate students, they are students who may have experience like studying in other English academies, okay, or they've been abroad, so they feel a little confident, okay, in their conversation skills. They're able to make good sentences, okay, while advanced levels, okay, these are students who are really like exposed to the English language very often. So it could be that they have lived in America for like 2 years, and they just want to continue, and they want to improve their English skills more, even if they already go back to their home country. Okay, so those are the 3 levels of students. Okay, so again, some companies would also ask you, which do you prefer to teach? Do you prefer beginners? Do you prefer intermediate? Okay, or advanced students? Okay. Next, equipment and system requirements. Right. So this is a very common question. Okay. So how do you start? Okay. What do you need? Okay. So of course, it's really important that you have a wired, stable internet connection. Why? Because most companies, okay, do not accept Wi-Fi's. Okay, they think that Wi-Fi's could be unstable, and connection can get cut. So they really require you to have a wired connection. So you need a LAN. Okay, so a LAN connector, so you directly connect your computer to your modem. Okay, the speed requirement, again, it depends on the company that you apply for. Some companies require just 2 Mbps both for download and upload, while other companies would require 10 to 25 Mbps. So it actually depends. Okay, each company would require a different internet speed. Again, also, they take into consideration the platform that they use. Okay, laptop or desktop. Okay, so specs vary again on the company platform. So it's really important, okay, because they want wired connections. So cell phones and tablets are not encouraged, okay. Most of them actually do not accept, especially in the interview process or during the orientation. If they tell you, okay, to like show the specs of your laptop or desktop, if you have nothing to show, okay, then usually they would advise you to have your own laptop first or desktop first before you can start working for them. The specs, again, they vary, okay, for each company. Again, because they have their own platforms, okay. So maybe if they're just using Skype or Zoom, then it may not really require very high specs. But okay, just to play safe, then usually I would recommend if you're using laptops, for example, i3, okay, that would be already fine, or i5 would even be better. Okay, so just to maybe, okay, just to like give you a better option, okay, whatever, just to be prepared, because you don't know what platform are they using. So choose the higher specs if it's possible. Okay, headset and camera. So again, it also depends on the company that you're applying for. Like I mentioned earlier, for audio classes, then they would require you the high-end type of headset wherein there really is a noise canceling feature, because they don't want their students to get distracted with unnecessary noise. Okay, camera, okay, you would only need this if you are having video classes, right? What about the working hours? So like, what would be the schedule if you're gonna have your class? So it could be flexible and or fixed schedule. It depends on the company that you're applying for. So flexible, with a booking system that we or that I discussed earlier, it's flexible because you can choose whatever time you want to have classes. For example, in the morning, you want to have classes from 8 to 11 a.m. only. Then that would be fine. And then you take a break. You want to start class again from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, that's fine. Then at night, if you want to start class at 8 until 11, that will also be good. It's flexible. You can choose, okay? It could be for that day only. The next day you would have a different schedule. It's fine because it's a booking system. The students will be the one to book your class. So your schedule, you can play with it, okay, depending on your needs. However, when we talk about fixed schedule, okay, it's really a schedule that is given by the company that you applied for in the first place. They would ask you, are you willing to work from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.? Because take note, the peak, okay, the peak hours, it's here, peak hours and peak days. So peak hours would usually be the time when they already finished their school in their country, or they finished their work. So that would be around 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. That would be the peak hours. Okay, peak days would be Mondays to Fridays, or it's gonna be the whole day on a Sunday, because students in their country, they just stay home, so they're gonna have class the whole day. Okay, so again, it depends, flexible or fixed. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is possible for flexible, okay, schedule, because there are companies, since they offer or they cater Asian students and European students. So it's possible. Different time zones. You can have classes in the morning, you can have classes late at night, or early morning. It depends. Okay, so 24 hours a day, it's possible. 7 days a week. If you're not tired, okay, if you still have the voice, okay, then and the energy, okay, you can continue to have classes. Okay. Minimum teaching hours required depending on the company. Yes, there are companies that require, like, even if it's flexible schedule, but they require you to have minimum teaching hours. Let's say per week, you should have at least 20 hours, okay, of classes. Other companies would require like 40 hours of classes per week. It depends on the company. There are also others that do not require minimum teaching hours, basically because they have the principle that, or they believe in the principle that you as a teacher, you make your own decision, okay, on how long or how many classes would you want to have, because your salary in the first place depends on the number of classes that you are able to conduct. Okay, so meaning if you have lesser hours of classes, then you would also expect lower salary. Okay, so salary rate, the mode, and the schedule of payment. Okay, one-on-one classes, usually it goes at around 60 pesos per 25 minutes. So for 50 minutes, that's 120, around $3, $2 to $3, okay? And others would offer 500 pesos per hour. So let's talk about these first, okay? Because there are some Filipinos who actually, like, they think that, oh, it's a difficult job, but then we are only paid 120 pesos, okay, per hour, okay, of teaching. Yeah, it's true, it can be challenging, okay, but especially if you're a newbie, okay, starting rates would usually be around this, okay. And if you are willing to take this, okay, for me, I still encourage it because it's a good training ground for you. Okay. So it's like you give yourself a specific period of time that you stay with that company with this minimum rate. And if you think that you are already confident with your skills, you're competent enough, then okay, aim for something bigger. Then maybe it's time for you to move on, find another company that requires experience, but they offer a higher rate. Okay. So it's like it's an entry rate, okay? And I really believe, okay, you start with something small, okay, and then you dream big and you work hard for it. Okay? Because basically in 2003 when I started teaching, we were then just paid 50 pesos per hour. Okay? Per class. Okay, that was 50 pesos per class. So you see, I started at that rate, okay? But then, if you dream big and you work hard for it, then you'll really be able to achieve, okay? You set your goal. I want to earn like 300. I want to earn like 500 per hour. Okay, you should work hard for that. However, if you have group classes, okay, then you can get paid like for 200 or 400 per 30 minutes. The pay is higher, the rate is higher. It's because you are conducting classes with several students at the same time, so it could be challenging also. So it's like to compensate for that challenge that they offer you a higher rate. Okay, but do not expect that when you join a company, especially if you're a newbie, that automatically you will be given a group class. No, because usually group classes are given to experienced teachers. Okay, so like I said, you start small, you work hard for it, okay? And once you developed the necessary skills, then you dream big and then you, okay, try to like confidently offer your services at a much higher rate, okay? So how do they pay you? It could be through bank transfers. Usually it could be through BPI, Metro Bank, and I think some offer also through BDO. Others would offer you through PayPal or money remittance if you do not really have this like a bank account or PayPal account, then they would offer you, okay, money remittance would be fine. But take note also of the charges, okay? Salary, it could be bi-monthly, twice a month. It could be on the 15th and the 30th. It could be weekly, which is really good. Okay, every Saturday you get paid, or monthly, that's once a month. Okay, it depends on the company that you are connected with. All right. So that was about ESL teaching. Now let's talk about online teaching in general. Okay. So as you can see, because of this pandemic that we are all experiencing, a new market has actually, okay, opened for teachers, online teachers specifically. Okay, because the market now is for Filipino students. Okay, due to the pandemic, then a new market was created for online teaching. More parents opt to have their kids study at home. With the parents limited materials and resources, this is an opportunity for you. Okay, so of course, before, our idea of teaching, like we call that one tutor time with Filipino kids, would be you go to their house or they go to a tutorial center, and then they study per subject there, right? But nowadays, because of our current situation, the pandemic has opened this market for us, wherein we can offer um, online classes to Filipino students. So this time, you will not just be teaching English, okay? You can now teach science, mathematics, Filipino. It depends, okay, on your um, maybe it could be, we can say, your expertise, okay, or whichever you feel comfortable teaching. And of course, because parents, they also have their own work, they have their own responsibilities at home, and even the resources, okay, could be very limited, like the materials that they can use. So this is really a great opportunity for online teaching. Okay, you can offer your services to them. So, how can you start teaching Filipino kids and even start your own online tutorial center? So, for now, there may be limited schools or centers that hire teachers to cater Filipino kids. Okay, it's because schools, okay, they are still in the process, okay, of they are trying to get out of the normal, okay, what we call the normal in the past, wherein they welcome students to their centers, okay, and they teach there. Now they're also moving into this platform. So basically, they already have their own set of teachers, okay, who offer tutorial services. So you can actually offer your service independently. Okay, you do not have to depend on these schools or centers. Okay, you can offer your services independently and even start your own center, and you can have your own network of tutors to work for you. Okay, so again, you have the freedom to choose the subjects to teach. It could be math, science, Filipino, etc. There are even others who teach, okay, art, okay, music. Again, it depends on what you want to teach. Right? So it's not basically just English. This time there's a lot more. Okay? And why is this the best time to learn online teaching? So you would ask, okay, why? Why should I study or why should I learn, okay, online teaching? Now, because everyone is moving to the digital platform, okay? There's already a transition. Everyone is learning how to use Zoom or Skype because it's going to be the mode, okay, or the platform that will be used for learning. Whatever the condition of the outside world is, online teaching still goes on. This is really true, okay? So, um, during the peak, or let's say the start of the pandemic, way back in February, okay, February, March, when the cases in Japan, for example, have increased, okay, at that time, a lot of businesses were closed, but online teaching still goes on. At that time, we were experiencing really a lot of students because they were just staying home and they have nothing else to do, so they learn English. Okay, so it's the same. Nowadays in the Philippines, kids are already bored being stuck at home since March, okay, until this time, okay, except for the gadgets. They also are hungry for learning, actually. So online teaching still goes on, right? Learning and enhancing your skills now can be your investment for the future of online education in the Philippines. Yeah, this is just the start, okay? When a lot of Filipinos have already adjusted, okay, and they have adopted this new system, This could just be the start. Okay, it's better that you learn now so that you're already competent and you're already confident, okay, in online teaching when the time comes that it becomes, okay, a bigger industry in the country, right? So this is a very common question that I read in comments, okay, even in Facebook posts when there are like testimonials about ESL teaching. How or where do I start? Okay, so basically you can do this. Okay, personally you can do this by yourself. Okay, first you assess your English skills. Okay, so how do you assess your English skills? You take grammar tests. Okay, online there are a lot. So there could be tests that you can do in grammarbank.com, oxfordonlineenglish.com. Okay, you can also check the results, okay, immediately. You would know how you did, if you did well in the test, okay, or not. You would know it right there and then. You also do some voice recordings. You record yourself, okay? Like you read the story, okay, you record it and have your friends evaluate your work. Get their opinions, okay, and how well you did in your recording. Okay? Do your research. Look for online ESL companies and go over their requirements, their work schedule, their rates, etc. if they suit you. Right? So it's actually really doing a lot of research. There are a lot of online ESL companies, okay? But then their requirements vary. So get to know each company, what do they require, and then okay, you check yourself, okay? Do I have those, okay? Not just the equipment, okay, but even the skills that they require, okay? And also, most importantly, you work on your English skills. Develop a good English foundation, explore and continuously improve yourself through self-taught materials. Okay? So here, this is not just for newbies, okay? Even for those who have already joined the ESL industry but not really that well experienced yet. Maybe they've been in the ESL industry for a year or less than a year. Okay, so you always really have to continuously improve. Okay, so do not just limit yourself. There would always be something new to learn. Okay, you can also join ESL support groups on Facebook. There are actually a lot of them. Okay, you can get a lot of materials, resources from them, even companies. Okay, you would know which companies are hiring at the moment, right? And of course, you can take a course or training as well. So if you think that you cannot really improve your skills just by doing things on your own, there would always be courses or trainings, okay, that you can take to really help you, okay, and improve your skills. Okay? Which leads me to the course information. Okay, so what do or what can you expect to learn, okay, when you choose to take ESL or online teaching here in FH Moms, okay? So for the first week, okay, you would have a live orientation and then I'll give you um all the things that you need to know about the ESL industry, the ins and outs, everything will be discussed there. Terminologies, the tools, the skills and traits of a successful ESL teacher, everything will be explained with all the examples given. Teaching style and approach. How do you teach kids? How do you handle difficult students? Okay, everything will be discussed in detail during the first week. So basically, the first week gives you a wider idea and background about the ESL industry. Okay, it's like after you finish the first week, you would know. Okay, I'm confident. I know so much already about the ESL industry. Okay, week two will be focused more on grammar. And as I would always repeatedly tell my trainees, okay, grammar is really the core and it's really your foundation in ESL teaching. Okay, because even if you teach conversation, even if you have like reading or pronunciation, grammar would still play a part, okay, in your classes. So in grammar, you will really learn a lot. Okay, my trainees actually are overwhelmed, okay, with the topics that we discuss, and they mentioned, okay, that there were so many things that they didn't expect, okay, to learn. They thought they knew about them already, but no, there is still so much more that you're going to learn. 8 parts of speech, especially about verbs and prepositions, okay, which actually most Filipinos would usually have errors, okay, or mistakes. The modals can, could, should, okay, the use of and the, when do we use them, if, okay, in our sentences, relative clauses, phrasal verbs, and so much more. So a lot of references, okay, rules, explanations of those rules are given during this week. Okay. Pronunciation practice. Okay, so basically for the third week, we are more focused on the pronunciation this time. Why? Because we want to get rid of the Filipino accent. So we want to focus also in improving or working on the pronunciation of our trainees. So if not really the American accent, but at least we get the neutral or the standard accent. Okay, so again, we will be learning the problem or improving and working on the problem areas when it comes to the pronunciation of Filipinos. Okay, like for example, vowel sounds, the difference when you say hat and hot. All right, so you don't say bunk, but you say bank. And then also problem letters like the F and the P. Okay, those things. So we will be learning that on the third week. Week 4 will be discussed, or we will be discussing the types of the ESL classes and Filipinos as the new market. So it is during this time that we learn, I think, okay, each kind of class is really discussed, okay, in particular, like what happens in a conversation class. What about a grammar class? How do you go over it? Okay, what would be the strategies and the techniques in answering the questions? Okay, what subjects can you teach Filipino students, the platforms and materials to use, the resources, okay, where can you find them? And also, we will work on building your portfolio as an independent contractor. So, meaning you don't need to get hired by a company, but you offer your services independently. And again, you can create your own center with a network of tutors, meaning you can ask your friends who can also teach, that they can work for you, okay, and be part of your growing, okay, network of tutors. And the last week, for the 5th week, we have the practical applications. So we will be creating resumes which are really fit for an ESL post. Okay. Your application requirements. These are very important. The video and the voice recording. So there would be like an individual recording, okay, and evaluation at the same time. And we will be working on what needs to be improved. Okay. The mock interview, of course, I'll be acting as the interviewer from the company, and I'll be like doing the interview with them. Everything will be in English, of course. And the most important, okay, it would be the trial or the demo class. Because even if you pass the interview, but if you do not do well in the demo class or the trial class, then companies would still not hire you. So, what are the things that you need to do? Okay, what are the things that you need to improve on, okay, when it comes to your demo class skills. Okay, so for the especially the grammar part, even in the week 1, week 2, okay, 3 and 4, these are all recordings, okay, video recordings, okay, with slides, so you can learn and work at your own pace. You don't have to rush yourself that, okay, I have to finish this in one sitting, okay. So it depends on your pace and how you go over them, okay. And the 5th one, okay, of course, would be scheduled. So each one would have their own turns, okay, in doing all of these exercises, which are really essential if you are applying for, okay, a post as an ESL teacher. Okay, so that's it, okay, for this webinar for tonight. So if you have any like questions or anything that you want to ask, okay, you can leave your questions, or yeah, send us questions in the comment section, okay, and we will be answering them. Okay, all right. Oh, a lot are actually literacy. Okay, there is a question here. Let me just address this. Is there a standard template or form that we use for the report? It actually depends on the company that you're working for. There are companies that would only require you, like, for the report, you just need to give like 2 to 3 sentences. That's it. Okay. While others, especially for the fixed schedule, they would require you per month. So it could be really a narrative. Okay. You really have to explain from the beginning until the end. It's more of like an essay. So there's really no like a standard template or form that you have to use for that. Okay. Can I have weekend classes only? Actually, it depends again on the company that you're working for. There are companies that would allow you to work on weekends if you just apply for a part-time post. Okay, well, there are others that would strictly require you to work like on specific days, like Mondays to Saturdays or Mondays to Fridays. So it depends. But of course, if you are an independent contractor, if you don't plan to work for a company, rather what you want is to offer your services independently, then you can choose your own schedule. Okay. um how much is the course and when is the training? So we are still open for enrollees for the September classes. So usually it's in the first week of September. Okay, the schedule will be posted on when would be the orientation, and then um after the general orientation, then our first session begins, which is our live session. Okay, how much does the course cost? Now the course costs 5,000 pesos, but because of our promo, there would be a 500 pesos discount, so that's only 4,500 for this. Any tips on how I can increase my booked classes? Okay. All right. So if it's in a booking system kind of class, okay, the number one tip that I could give you is you open your schedule ahead of time. Meaning, for example, for next week, let's say next week, Monday, okay, that's the 24th. As early as this week, I already plot my schedule. So meaning for the whole week next week, I open my schedule Monday to Friday. That gives me a lot of time. Okay, that gives me a lot of time, so I can open a lot of slots or a lot of time schedule, and students would also have also a lot of time to choose, okay, among their teachers and who are available during that time. Okay, so that's one tip. You can increase your booking if you open really ahead of time. Okay, do not open 1 day or 2 days before. That could give you less, that could, I think, based on experience, that would give you lesser chances. Okay, if you already have a regular following of students, okay, like in my case already, because I already have my students, like they're regular, okay, regulars in my timetable. So even if I open like 30 minutes before or an hour before, then I know that my slots would still be booked. Okay, so that's one. You open ahead of time your schedule. Another one, of course, is especially during peak hours, okay, open or critical time slots. Okay, you open as many classes as you can because it usually starts there. Okay, you get to be popular, okay, among students if they find your classes open, especially during the peak hours, okay, or the peak schedule. Um, Maybe the third would really be to I should say it's really your chance to like showcase, okay, your skills. You really have as much as possible. You really have to show off whatever it is that you have, okay, your full potential as an ESL teacher. Meaning, even if your class is conversation, you still need to correct your students' mistakes in grammar. Okay, maybe if you have a chance, explain a little. Okay, about the grammar rule, because if you leave that good impression to your students that you are not just good at conversation, but you're also knowledgeable when it comes to grammar, it really inspires them to look forward in your next classes, and they would often give you a good review. Okay. So because in a booking system, what's important is you receive good reviews from students. So for each class, you really have to do your best. Okay. You really have to show off. So not really like bragging or what, but it's really like doing your best in each class, because nobody's going to book your class if they nobody also nobody gave you good reviews, okay, or nobody said like anything good about you. So show off to your students, okay, whatever it is that you have as a potential, and surely, okay, they would recommend you to their friends. They would leave you with a good review, right? So, how to enroll? Will a link be provided? Yes, there is a link, okay, and there is actually a post in our page, in FH Mom's page, where you can click on so you could avail the promo that we have. How long is the training? The training basically lasts for 5 weeks, okay, but then for our training, actually, I have 2 live sessions per week, okay, with my students. It's basically a chance for them to ask questions about the videos or the modules that they learn on their own, and it's also a chance for me to like do some like trivia activities. We do that in our live sessions, like did you know that we don't say this in English, we say this, okay, etc. So basically, 5 weeks, you study the first 4 weeks. The videos would be just based on how you can go over them and depending on your time availability. But then we have 2 live sessions per week with me, okay, my students, we meet, okay, and then it's like it's our chance to interact and then ask questions, okay. The fifth week, more of this would be or would cover our like practical aspects, so it's more of like interview. So basically, again, it would be live sessions already, okay. So still you're able to learn at your own pace. So for the 4 weeks you can do that. Mhm. All right, so anything else? Who still has any questions for our webinar tonight? Let me ask. I sorry, let me check if okay. After finishing the course, what are the chances that I will be hired if I am still a newbie? Okay. So, of course, because nowadays, okay, it's really a given fact that the competition has really grown tougher and stiffer, okay, when it comes to ESL teaching. There are really a lot of aspiring ESL teachers nowadays, especially given our situation. So what I can only like I mentioned with my trainees now, okay, what I can only what I can only offer you, okay, would be to teach you as much as I could, okay, whatever it is that I know would be given to you. And you really have to do your share. You really have to work hard on it. Like, for example, the pronunciation. I would teach you the basics, okay, but then it's up to you on how you improve your skills. That's why I give them a lot of tips on how to do or how to improve it, okay, when even when they're alone, when they're at home with their kids, how do they improve their pronunciation? So you really have to do your share as well. So I would say the chances you will have, okay, I'm confident, okay, that you will have, okay, really good chances in getting hired. Why? It's because of the extensive training that you will be given, especially in the grammar part. Actually, listening to a lot of videos of even experienced tutors, if you listen to them in certain Facebook groups, okay, their live videos, even their YouTube videos, okay, you would hear a lot of grammar mistakes, even pronunciation mistakes. So you would really ask yourself, so how were they able to survive? Okay, how were they able to stay in the ESL industry? So how much more in your case if you were given the right training when it comes to grammar and pronunciation? So don't you think you already have that edge over them? Okay, so it's not just the grammar and the pronunciation, even the teaching style. Okay, like how should you conduct your classes? What would be the right approach? What would be the right behavior? Even in answering simple questions of your students, that are actually those things are actually taught, or we actually discuss that in our live sessions during the training. So will the hiring companies ask for a certificate as ESL teachers, or as ESL teacher? So there are companies that would require you to have TESOL certificate. Okay, but those companies, if they require TESOL, that would mean they would give you higher salary, okay, or higher rate, because they have we can say that they require you more, okay, or they require more of you, so they would ask for those certificates, okay, while others, they do not look at certificates, even your educational background, they don't look at that. What they're more focused on is your ability to speak English, okay, how are you able to deliver your classes. That is why part of the training is really to pass the demo class, because it is going to be your make or break point, okay, so even if your resume is really impressive, even if in the interview you were able to impress the HR or whoever interviewed you, but if in the demo class or the mock class or mock lesson, okay, or trial class, they were not satisfied with how you delivered the class, then they will still not hire you. Or they will tell you that, okay, you still need to work on it. Okay, and then maybe you can try again next time and do another demo class. Others would do it like 3 times, 4 times, okay, until they're able to pass. Okay, while in our training, I'll be teaching, okay, the right way, the right approach on how to do that. So there are ESL companies that would require you certificates, while there are others that do not really require you that. Okay. So who else have any questions? I hope I was able to address, okay, your questions. So let me just check. Okay, so okay, the course outline, all right. So yeah, so it's basically the first week we have the introduction, okay, background of the ESL industry. Everything is really discussed there. The second week would be more focused on grammar. Third would be the pronunciation, the third week. Fourth week would be the different classes, okay, for ESL companies, and then how you go over teaching Filipino kids. The fifth week would be about, okay, practical applications, how to pass your interview, your demo class, okay, how should you do your recordings, may it be video recordings or voice recordings, okay? So those things. um there's another one. Is there an age limit, okay, for companies who hire ESL teachers? Actually, there are companies that require, like, they want 18 years old to 30 years old. There are others that they do not have, okay, um age specifics, except that they don't hire minors, okay? So at least they would require at least 18 years old, but then they do not put like until 40 or 45, okay, or so on. So just as long as you're not a minor, then there are, okay, opportunities for you to um, still be able to apply as an ESL teacher. Okay, so as long as you're not a minor, okay, you can still apply. um Yeah, actually, because even if you are, because there's a question here. Um, I'm a licensed teacher, but I must, or it's not really a question, okay? But her comment is, she's a licensed teacher, but she must admit that she's not very confident in doing demo teaching. Yeah, because actually, okay, even if your major is education, even if you're a licensed teacher in the Philippines, okay, it can really be a challenge, and it's really different, okay, when you do it online. So maybe you are confident with your skills when you're in front of Filipino students, okay, especially if you're teaching your forte. But then it's a totally different thing if you are facing foreign students and if you're doing it online, because there are certain limitations. Teaching, especially in person, there are a lot of advantages that would work for you as a teacher. There's the facial expression, the gestures, okay, the body language. But then if you do it online, okay, there are certain limitations. You're limited to just your facial expression, right? And then just your hand gestures, okay? And then it's more of a guessing game for you as a teacher, because you try to just look at your student's face, okay, and see, okay, is he confused? Is he happy about our class? Is he bored? Okay, those things. And there are also certain things that you should avoid in online classes, especially when you do demo teaching. There shouldn't be any dead air. We call that one a dead air. Dead air is the uncomfortable silence, okay, during the class. So when suddenly, okay, both of you, you and your student, okay, chose to just keep quiet, that's an awkward, uncomfortable silence. We call that one dead air. So that's really one thing that you should avoid, okay? Especially when you're doing your demo class or demo teaching. Okay, you should not really um how is it, you should not give like a chance or opportunity to have that dead air between you and your student. And also you should avoid using fillers. Filipinos are so used to that, like uh oh, yes, you finish all the vowel sounds, okay? So we should avoid doing that as well. So there are so many things actually, okay, that you need to work on, because it's totally different teaching, okay, as a licensed teacher and teaching online. Okay, are there any questions or any more questions? All right, so if there are none, so I think, okay, that's it for tonight. I will, okay. Okay. So hi Joanna. Okay. So yeah, you can still watch, okay, a replay of this video for those who were not able to watch it from the start, okay? This is recorded and you will learn and you will know a lot, okay, because I've shared so much information about the ESL industry. I think this free webinar gives you, okay, enough information already on where to start, how to start, because a lot of us would usually ask, how po, okay? So watch this webinar again and you will already know, okay, where and how to start. Okay? So that's it for tonight. I really hope that I was able to share with you, okay, a lot of things about the ESL industry and online teaching. And I'm looking forward to seeing, okay, if not all of you, but some of you or a lot of you, okay, in our course or in our class. It's really, really something that you can say that it's something that you did not expect, okay, that at this age there are still a lot of things that I can know more of, especially when it comes to English, and that you would be so happy with yourself that at least I'm more confident with my English skills now. And there's something that I can share, not just with my kids, okay, but I can also earn money from it as well. Okay, so thank you so much, mga mommies. Okay, so I'll see you again on our next free webinar. And maybe, okay, given a chance, you still have the chance, okay, to enroll for our September classes. Okay, so thank you and have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.
Every mom has her own struggles. For most stay-at-home moms, aside from the random feeling of insecurity about not bringing home a paycheck, they struggle with never-ending household chores and errands. Working moms, on the other hand, also have an occasional feeling of being not good enough, because even though they can help with the financial needs of the family, their work sometimes hinders them from spending time with their loved ones in return. We are moms like you. We understand all these, but the question is, why choose when you can have both? Be a work-at-home mom and enjoy bonding with your family without compromising your household finances. FH Moms is here to help you jumpstart your work-at-home career. With its fast-growing community of Filipino moms who are either aspiring or already working from home, partnered with its goal to help determined Filipino moms land a home-based job, you'll surely get the help that you need through its tools, guides, and advice readily available for you. Are you ready to work from home like us? We're here to assist you every step of the way. Check the Filipina Home-Based Moms page or join the group for more details. FH Moms. Moving forward, giving back.